This is the DJI Osmo, a $640 4K stabilized video camera, and it can do this. It's the latest in a long line of gadgets that we've used to try to get that tracking shot. This tracking shot that makes your video quality go up so much. Looks great in Hollywood films, but it's been too expensive for YouTubers like ourselves. The first thing we tried was just a mechanical Steadicam like this. You can move it and the weights just kind of even everything out. It takes a lot of practice and a lot of training, and in Hollywood, Steadicam operators are professionals. It's like a real job, but it's too heavy. So you can operate it for a good like 10-15 seconds before your arm gets tired, and that's not enough time. So then you can get like an arm brace that gives you some more time, but that's not enough time still. So you get like a whole vest, and you get like a crane that goes over your head and supports it, and then at that point you look ridiculous. And we film in public places like parks and restaurants and malls and airports and stuff, and it's never going to fly in those places. It's too obvious. So you can get yourself a little Steadicam like this with a GoPro on it, but these are real fiddly and not that steady, and this one in particular is too small, but at the end of the day it's still just a GoPro. It's a 15mm fisheye lens, and that's all you can do, and it just doesn't ever look that great because it always just looks like a GoPro. Now you can also get this, which is a Nebula 4000, and you have seen absolutely no videos recorded with this because we spent a lot of time with it, but we got it to work in testing, but then every time we took it out to actually film something, it would flake out. So you can see it's kind of working, and then it starts shaking, and I could hook it up to the computer and do a whole bunch of tuning on it and get it to the point where it wasn't shaking anymore, but then if I change a lens or something, I'd have to hook it back up to the computer and spend another hour like tuning it. And so it can work, but ultimately it's too much trouble. And you know, we do 2 recorded videos a week, and we don't have time to be spending 2 hours to get a camera set up for a 10-second clip of B-roll for a tracking shot. So that Nebula gathering dust. Bought a drone. You can hook a camera up to this. If you get a camera and a first-person display, well, you're sinking at least $1,500 into it. But the bigger problem with it is, well, you have no discretion because it's loud, so it's going to ruin any audio that you might have. It's also going to attract every little boy within a mile radius who's going to come running over. It's going to attract security guards. But worst of all, it's actually illegal to fly one of these and make a commercial YouTube video. So we just can't use a drone. But DJI came along and they made a little drone that fits in my hand. It's silent, and it's not silent. It has a little hum to it, but it's not bad. It uses your phone for a display, and the price is right. So it seems like a dream come true, and it kind of is. But it doesn't work all the time. So let's take a look at a couple of clips. Here it is turning sideways for no good reason. For some reason in this shot, it just didn't stabilize it. But you want to really cringe, watch Justin try to get this thing working under severe time constraints.
So, you know, window light I think is the way to go.
Justin, it seems like you're not recording.
No,
I guess we have all these other things.
It's lost its mind.
Well, that's not good for our DJI Osmo review, is it?
No, I don't remember it ever being this bad when I used it.
It's a total pain. Try just shutting down the app, shutting down the camera. Pain in the ass Osmo. It's supposed to be great, but this is the kind of shit you deal with it all the time.
Really?
It's like, it'll be great for a whole shoot, and then you go to do this, you're like ready to shoot, and you're like, but what do? You're like, everybody hold up. I have to try to restart this app, and you know, you've got everything lined up, and then everybody's just standing around.
Right.
Yeah, speaking of
not ready for professional use.
If you think I should just grab the Sony or something
Yeah,
and do that.
I guess. I mean, we do have these cameras up here,
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
so you don't necessarily need it, but yeah, you can take some time to troubleshoot it. So here's how it works. You take your Android or your iPhone and you just stick it into the bracket here. And that works pretty fine, and it seems to be fine with an iPhone 6S, like a bigger phone, as long as you don't have a big bulky case on it. Then you fire up your Osmo, you connect your phone to the Osmo's Wi-Fi network, then you launch the DJI Go app, and after you get them paired, well, everything should just sync up. You can touch the screen here to change the focusing point and the exposure, and to even move the head around, and when it works great. You get 4K at 30 frames a second, or you can do 1080p at 120 frames a second. The app looks pretty good. It seems there's almost no noticeable lag, and you don't have to use the bracket. You can take your phone off so you can hold this over your head and still see, and I like that a lot. This whole thing, in fact, can come off, and you can connect other accessories to it that DJI isn't shipping yet, but you could connect an accessory here that would allow you to attach it to your bike, or to your helmet or your car or something else like that. So it has a lot of potential. The controls are real simple. This thumbstick is one of the biggest differences between this and these other solutions. You can use it to just steer the head around, and that's just really, really important. By default, the movement was way too quick and jerky, but you can slow it down and it ends up being smooth and natural movement. That thumbstick makes this a much more useful device. Normally, it'll just follow the movements of your hand, just kind of gradually catching up with you at a pace that you define. If you want to lock it on a subject, hold the trigger down, and then you can move it like this, and it will stay locked in on the subject. If, for some reason, it gets pointed in the wrong direction, you can realign it with your hand. Just push the button twice, and it should snap back forward. You don't have to hold it upright like this. You can hold it like a flashlight. You can even hold it upside down, which is useful sometimes if you want to get low to the ground. Push it 3 times and it's selfie mode. Oh, yeah, see there, it tried to twist around where it didn't have any more spin left. So let me try that again. There we go. Selfie mode, because that's the current generation. So this is the panorama mode, but see, it can't just spin indefinitely. It spins around to the left and it just keeps running up against a stop, and you'd think that it would figure that out and just go like the other way, but maybe I can twist this around. Okay, so I'll twist it around like that. Let's try it again. No, just... Okay, now it's doing it. So it will do this, but so will your phone. You can just get a panorama out for your phone. And it's probably going to be a lot easier than pulling this thing out. And for the stills, same thing. Like, it's 20 millimeters. I would just use your phone for that. This is really a video camera. The video quality is better than a GoPro, but it's worse than a Micro Four Thirds camera like a GH4. It's about 20 millimeters equivalent, which is better than the 15 millimeters on the GoPro. It's pretty usable, and because it's 4K, you can crop down pretty seriously. Like if you were shooting 1080, or if you're producing in 1080, you could crop it down to 40 millimeters. So you can get a lot tighter than you can with other cameras, even though you don't have an interchangeable lens. It stabilizes any sort of twisting, like this, or like this, or like this, but it doesn't stabilize up and down movements or side to side movements. It would need like a big articulating arm. As a result, if you're walking with it, you're gonna see your steps in there a little bit. Still way better than if you were just walking with an image stabilized camera. Wear soft-soled shoes, bend your knees, and bend your elbows to get the best results out of it. It has a mic jack, and the built-in sound is pretty terrible, but if you were to connect a mic in there, it doesn't have a place to attach the mic. So you'd have to like try to hold it in your hand, or if you were using a receiver, maybe you could run a cord there and put it on your belt. But it really needs a tripod mount, or a cold shoe for like a flash attachment, or something to attach something else to, at least until they get some accessories out for it. Battery life isn't too bad. It'll record for almost an hour, which is enough for our uses. The real problem with battery is the battery on your phone, because that app will drain your phone's battery so fast. So make sure you have an extra battery for that, or a USB charger. So should you get it? It really depends. If you're shooting in such a way that you can take 5 minutes to fuss with it and figure out why the app isn't connecting and troubleshoot like that, if you don't have a lot of people like waiting on you to film right away, then it produces fantastic results. And we're definitely going to continue to use it for some things, but we're not going to use it for any time sensitive projects, because it just gets just way too frustrating when you're trying to pull it out and the stupid app won't start up, or they disconnect it, or there's just some other error message, or it turns sideways or something else. It desperately needs a firmware update. And I want you to watch out for other reviews, because a lot of times reviewers don't report on things like that because the reviewers think maybe it's just their lack of experience with it. Maybe it's because they got a beta release and they're pretty sure these kinds of things are going to be fixed. But we waited a full 6 weeks after the full production release of this thing, including installing the latest firmware update, and this is the current state of it. I'm confident we'll see more firmware updates, and I'm confident some of these reliability issues will be addressed, and we're definitely going to keep it, because the shots that we've gotten with it have been fantastic, and when it works great, and it's better than anything else that we've found. Subscribe, like my video, share it with your friends. Let me know if it helped, or if you found a different solution. Maybe you've had a different experience with it. And if you want an update on how the firmware is going, write a comment and I'll let you know. Thanks. I think it would know to always, like, if it was out of left turn, to go to the right. But it doesn't. It just goes to the left and then runs out of room, and then it's just like, I don't know what to do. You can tap this once to lock it in place. It's not doing it now because it's the Osmo and this is the way it works.